I've got a weird take on this series. I think Cleveland's and LeBron's gonna embarrass them again tonight, but I still think it's a 6 or 7 game series. I love Cleveland in the business suits, on the road, with a business mentality. They had one of the worst records at home, Cleveland did, against the spread all during the regular season. I like them better on the road, completely focused. I think LeBron tonight is going to be desperate because I think he wants rest, and he'd like to end this series as soon as possible.
This next game is Game 7 for both teams. If Toronto loses this game, it's a sweep. Confidence-wise, they're in the tubes. If Cleveland wins this game, they know they can take this whole series. So this is the most important game of the series for Toronto because they lose all confidence if they lose this next game. They have the environment in Toronto. It's basically USA versus Canada when you play at Toronto in a playoff game. However, they have to take advantage of it. If they can't get this game, you're in a bind. You can't come back from that.
The worst thing in the world happened to Toronto. That could happen. LeBron have a bad game. The bench players get a rhythm, and they win. They're in trouble now. You didn't let J.R. Smith, KK Love, you didn't let all these guys get a rhythm. You D'd up LeBron well last game. He had a tough game, and they were still able to win. LeBron ain't gonna play bad tonight.
No,
he gonna come out and have a crazy game. And if J.R. and K-Love hitting, they don't have a chance.
Yeah, look, I think Cleveland can beat them in 5 if they want. Cleveland gets complacent. You were on the team. You know they get complacent at times, I think. I think now even more so, even in games against Indiana. I thought there were games in that series where Cleveland would get out to a big lead and then kind of let their foot off the gas. Next thing you know, it's a 2-point game, it's a 3-point game, and they have to play big. I think they'll probably let go a little bit. They're saying in their minds they want to go out and win and go up 2-0, but I think they'll let go a little bit, and that's why they could lose and let them back in the series.
Let me throw a curveball at you all. We didn't prepare for this, but I just want to throw it. If you're calling this a Game 7, most important game for Toronto. If Toronto loses tonight and gets embarrassed in this series, does Toronto need to mark Jackson, Dwayne Casey, and say, he can't get us to the next level? We need to bring another coach in here?
Well, you got to put some of that ownership on the players, too, now. You know, the coach can only do so much. Now, I was one guy that said, you know, I think this is going to be DeMar DeRozan come-out party. You know, they got up 20. I thought he was good enough to go out there and finish the game for them. The stars is letting us down, too. So if you want to talk about the coach letting us down, let's talk about the players, too.
They don't have a superstar. You know, I mean, generally to get to the conference finals, you need a superstar. It happens occasionally if you don't have one, but they don't have that. And every superstar they've had, Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, Chris Bosh, they've left. So they just got a bunch of guys that'll be happy in Toronto. DeMar is a star. I wouldn't say superstar. Lowry has become a star, but man, he was a journeyman before he got to Toronto. And then everybody else is guys from different countries that'll be happy there. I don't know much that they can do other than be a good, solid team and their fans be happy with getting in the playoffs.
I agree with you. They don't have a guy in the fourth quarter that can dominate a game and take the game home for, especially against LeBron James. That's their weakness. That's their kryptonite. That's the person that they can't. That's the team and the person they can't get over.
That's the whole league.
But some teams have adjustments.
Somebody jump in front of this bullet. Somebody jump in front of this bullet. Do they have better personnel than Utah? And Utah is taking on the top team in the league right now. Does Toronto have better personnel than Utah?
No.
Gobert is
Defensive player of the year, might be defensive player of the year. You got Donovan Mitchell.
Rookie of the year.
Rookie of the year. Possible rookie of the year.
Rookie of the year.
That's too. That was a bad question.
And Snyder, look.
It wasn't no Andrew Wiggins who played it wasn't that bad. I'm not going to overreact because I don't think we learned anything last night. I knew Quin Snyder was a better coach than Mike D'Antoni. That's what happened.
Right.
I feel like they were lackadaisical. I think they'll recover. I didn't even really like the way Utah closed out the game. I thought they were sloppy and took some bad shots early in the shot clock, did some dumb things. Quin Snyder's a hell of a coach. Joe Ingles was hot as hell last night. Great. I still think Houston takes back control of this series and wins in 5.
Yeah, Houston definitely has the better player in James Harden. But I look at another note yesterday in the game. Utah did something that no other team has done to James Harden. They found one guy in O'Neal. Your whole focus is to annoy James Harden. As a basketball player, as a defender, we both defenders. We know. great scorers, you cannot stop them. What you did me all the time, just ignore him, even if they get 30. Make it the toughest 30 they ever got in their life. James was struggling, he was pushing off, got some offensive fouls, got in foul trouble. I think the way they played defense, that was, like I said, it was all coaching. It was all coaching, but the way they played defense was definitely the reason why they won their game.
It made him think about not playing basketball at that point in time. Now he was just thinking about how to get their collective defenders back.
Right.
And they put them in a situation where you got to go play 2 games in Utah, and that's one of the best home court advantages in basketball. They don't get enough credit. Quin has his team peaking at the right time. Like this whole playoff situation in basketball is about peaking at the right time and the right matchup. Mm-hmm. These guys are real, and they're getting better as games go on. They're not plateauing. They're getting better, and you're finding out different ways and they can win. They're junking the game up, and they're not relying on one thing. They have different options. Donovan Mitchell's been leading them, but different guys step up, they defend, and they have a great coach. Mm-hmm. They're dangerous. This is not a definitive situation where we can say—
you think this game last night was significant?
I think it was significant because they even play better against Golden State if that's where they got to go after this. Like they're 3-1 against Golden State, Utah during the season.
Any win on the road in the playoffs.
So getting home court advantage back is tough because we didn't even count them in and beating OKC. It wasn't a consensus about OKC, but what they did is they proved that they can play, they're for real, they have a star, and they can defend. Yeah. And that makes them dangerous in the series.
Utah is for real. I'm still sticking with Houston to win the series. Mm-hmm. But look, Mike D'Antoni has the lowest playoff win percentage among active coaches in the last 25 seasons. And last night we saw why. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. He has a lack of attention to detail. Mm-hmm. Look at his comment after the game. Energy, focus, lulled into sleep. Like, where the detail? Where's the strategy? And Quin Snyder, he doesn't make adjustments. Mm-hmm. Pop would out-coach him when he was in Phoenix. Quin Snyder's going to out-coach him now. God forbid if they get to the next round, he's going to get out-coached by Steve Kerr. Because you guys know better than me, playoffs are about adjustments, right? Yes. Game to game. Yes. Is Mike D'Antoni making any adjustments?
I don't think he has.
He's like, this is how we play.
It's their style.
We're going to win or lose this
Are we
way.
all letting Chris Paul and James Harden off the hook? They don't have a great playoff resume either.
Well, and that's been the thing. You know, James has been great in regular season the last couple of years and getting to the playoffs and having let downs. Yeah. Neither one of them are champions. Nobody over there is just champions. So I expected that game to be better than what it was. I expect them to come out and try to end Utah, and they didn't. Going to Utah, they have problems now because you're giving this young team confidence. And like he said, it's hard to win in Utah. It's hard.
Chris Paul, to your point, 9 turnovers in the first 2 games. I mean, Chris is one of the most sure-handed point guards ever in the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
But
that
now
turnover late in the game against Gobert.
That was big.
Against Gobert.
That was
Utah
big.
has found a way to turn him over and to be defensively efficient against a high-powered offensive team. That's going to be tough. That's going to be a tough mountain to climb. I'm not saying it can't happen, but you need adjustments to be able to climb that mountain. And you don't have the best coach for adjustments, so you're in a tough situation.
You can't come out in the press conference and be like, well, we didn't really play. You know, we just knew we blew them out last game, so we just came out, just thought we was going to blow them again. They're not that good. That's really what he wanted to say. We just feel like we can come out and beat them on our worst day.
That's basically
and that's how they played. And that's basically what he said.
Joe Ingles,
no respect.
Joe Ingles, I think he hit 7 threes last night.
They had
That's not happening.
Like Larry Bird.
But that needed to
at
happen.
Home, them shots fall at home.
Right, that needed to happen on the road to get you that win.
Yes.
Now you can be the Joe Ingles, and then you're going to have other people step up because you're at home. You have the confidence of the home crowd. So Joe Ingles needed that performance just for the road game. It's going to even out when we get back to Utah with the elevation as well.
Are you picking Utah?
I'm not.
I would pick Utah in this situation only because they got this game. Wow. I think they're dangerous at home. So
yes.
I'm counting 2 games at home. Now Houston's going to have to do something that I don't necessarily think they can do is take home court advantage back from them. They may take that next game in Houston.
2-2, make it 2.
Right, but then you got to come back in Utah and play again, and that is the hard part. That's where they put them in a bind.